Audio Jungle.
Renovations to Ridgefield Schlumberger property in fun phase. Ridgefield - this time last year, the owners of design firm BassamFellows and theater group ACT of Connecticut were finalizing leases to move into 2 buildings on the town-owned former Schlumberger property. The leases, approved by voters in February, let the groups take over the Philip Johnson building and its neighboring auditorium for just $1 a year. In return, the tenants were asked to finance substantial renovations on the buildings, which had fallen into disrepair since they were last used nearly a decade ago. Now, after months spent planning and restoring the buildings, both tenants say they can finally begin visualizing what their new spaces will look like when they open to the public in the coming year. The difficult stuff - like air conditioning systems, heating systems, ceiling work - we're now done, said Scott Fellows, creative director for BassamFellows, which took over the Johnson building. Now, we're going to start and see the fun stuff. Fellows said the company expects to spend the next 6 to 8 weeks completing some of the visual changes in the building, like putting in new glass at the front of the building and installing new flooring. He hopes this phase will be completed by February. BassamFellows, which is based in New Canaan, will use the building as its offices, showroom and design studio. Katie Diamond, executive producer of ACT, said the group is also starting to move to the fun part of the renovations, like picking out seating and wall colors. Renovations officially started in the last few weeks, after months of planning and demolition, Diamond said, but the group is on schedule to open in June with previews of its first show, Mamma Mia. Much of the time was spent figuring out the best way to turn the small corporate auditorium into a professional theater, Diamond said. She and Daniel C. Levine, ACT's artistic director, said substantial repairs were also necessary to deal with water damage caused by flooding in the years the building was vacant. I think a lot of people may have walked away from this, but we certainly had a vision, Levine said. We had to be really creative with how we're going to make this work. The construction included knocking down most of the office space to create an open lobby, retiring the auditorium seating and excavating around the stage to create a backstage area and the theater wings. When completed, the new venue will bring shows to Ridgefield for 3-week runs, featuring both Broadway talent and local professional actors, Levine said. As one of the only theaters in the area belonging to the Actors Equity Association, it will add a new feature to the existing theater culture in Ridgefield, the pair believes. It fills a totally different slot in our town, Diamond said. We have the Playhouse, which is a venue that brings in acts, usually for one night, and the Theater Barn, which is a community theater. So this is the third wheel to that. There will be a little of everything now. Diamond and Levine, both former Broadway actors themselves, said they've already been flooded with calls by experienced theater professionals in Ridgefield ready to help out. Both new tenants said that aside from repairing water damage, which Fellows said was severe in the Philip Johnson building as well, restoration focused on paying homage to the building's history. Fellows said he and his business partner, Craig Bassam, reviewed the building's original plans at Columbia University to ensure they are preserving as much of the original design as possible. The restoration became especially important to them, Fellows said, after they discovered that the 50s building was one of the first administrative offices built in the suburbs. This building was strange in that it was built in the Connecticut woods 65 miles from the city, Fellows said. With that historical context, and the fact that it's Philip Johnson's first commercial building, all of those details matter. Renovations included bringing the interior rooms back to their original floor plan and restoring design elements that had either been damaged or covered over the years. In the auditorium, Diamond said, the wall of windows in the soon-to-be lobby will be preserved and the wood that used to make up the seating will be used in interior detailing. Both ACT of Connecticut and BassamFellows were included as possible tenants for the buildings in a 2016 report by the Schlumberger Citizens Committee, created to decide how best to use the 30 acres the town owns. The committee, through 2 surveys, recommended that the town transform part of the site into a cultural center while preserving the remaining structures and some open space. The last of the 3 remaining buildings on the property, the Sky Dome, is still vacant, but has been discussed as a potential storage area for town departments. The last of the three.
Please subscribe, comments, like and share.